Hello everyone, welcome to yet another Indo-Indians event. Today is International Women's Day and we welcome each and every one of you to celebrate this day with us. Women's Day is all about doing away with gender bias and recognizing that each one of us human beings have the same platform and the way to go forward. Today, we are talking about a very important topic. Our topic is self care and empowerment. As we all know, everything starts from inside out, from the self to going out. And today, we have four experts, and my co host is Jyoti Chawla. Jyoti Chawla has been supporting Indo-Indians in various ways, and she's also been helping us in conversation with many newsmakers, with many important people. Hi, Jyoti, welcome.
Hi, Poonam. A very happy Women's Day to you.
Thank you, and to you.
Well, it is a great event. Actually, I personally feel every day is a Woman's Day and every day is a Man's Day. The bottom line is, we women just put ourselves on the back burner. And I think this is a great day to remind ourselves that, we have to look ourselves first. Just like in the flights, they tell you wear your mask first.
Okay.
If we are able to take care of our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health, we can look after everybody around us. But that is where the focus needs to be. And I think it's a great topic to have because keeping in mind how emotional and physical health, starts to make us more resilient, make us more stronger. It's a feel good factor for us, and we need to prioritize it. So it's a great time to have this conversation, and we have four experts here. We're going to talk about four key things that are important to self care. And firstly, it's physical health, emotional health, cognitive health, and social health. And our experts today is Dr. Varkha Lachman. Can we spotlight Dr. Varkha? There you are. How are you, Doctor?
Good, good. Thank you.
Dr. Geeta Seth.
Hi.
Hi, great. Sonia Lakhiani.
Hi, hello everyone.
Then we have Shareen Ratnani.
Hi, everyone.
So Poonam and I
No,
will take this forward with all of you. And let me have some questions with Dr. Varkha, but I would like to first introduce Dr. Varkha. Dr. Varkha is a general practitioner at Ruma Sakit Bunda Hospital. She's graduated from Atmajaya University and has been practicing medicine since 1996. She also has a diploma in family medicine from Apollo Hospital, India, and is international member of Royal College of Physicians. Dr. Varkha has a graduate diploma in family medicine dermatology from National University of Singapore in 2018 and acquired the certificate of knowledge in clinical tropical medicine and travelers health. Well, everybody who's in Jakarta knows Dr. Varkha. So this is not a hidden secret. Dr. Varkha, you have been in this field for all your life. I would like to understand from you, what does self-care mean to a woman? Dr. Varkha, can you hear me? Poonam, I think we have some glitch. Can you hear me, Poonam?
Yes, I can.
Oh, Dr. Varkha, can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, great. So I was introducing you, I don't know if you heard that, and I was just saying that everybody in Jakarta knows you. You've been in this industry all your life. You've been a doctor and a certified physician. What does self care to women mean to you? How would you address it?
Self-care is a process of nurturing yourself. Many women ignores it and tend to put their own needs on the back burner.
Correct.
Practicing self-care is not being selfish, but is preventative.
Yes.
Taking personal responsibility of your own physical health is extremely essential.
Yes. And do you think you could share some basic tips and simple ways in what women could do for their own physical health?
Sure, sure. So here are actually some very simple and basic tips of what we can do for our physical health. Yeah. Firstly, don't ignore what you feel, as your body talks to you daily through the signs it shows you.
Correct.
When you feel exhausted, take time alone to rest and refuel and let the world continue to spin. A study published in September 2017 in the Journal of American Heart Association found that too little sleep, less than 7 hours per night, was linked to higher mortality rates. Next, the routine exercise has many times been overlooked. Many women consider their routine chores as their exercise. These routine activities does help to keep us moving, but they are filled with daily stressors. Taking out time specifically for exercise actually calms your mind, and it has evidence-based proven to help with mental health issues, like, for example, anxiety, depression. People who exercise between 2 to 8 hours per week throughout their life reduce their risk of dying 29 to 36%, according to the March 2019 study, as in JAMA. Another essential element for self-care is actually balanced diet. Eating a balanced diet with 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day was related to a lower risk of mortality, especially from heart-related issues, according to the July 2019 study published in the British Medical Journal. I'll not elaborate so much about it because I see one of our panels here will be talking about it in more detail. Last but not the least is the routine medical checkup, which are constantly delayed. Women always put everyone else first, allowing their own needs to suffer.
So, since you mentioned routine checkups, what do you think are the key routine checkups that one needs to look at, and how important is it?
Regular medical checkups are routinely conducted to actually evaluate your risk factors of any medical conditions, to screen for cancer and other diseases, to assess your lifestyle habits, to reduce your risk of chronic or life-threatening illnesses. The recommendation regarding the frequency of routine checkups are actually based on your age, your risk factor, and your current health status. So according to the American Family Physician, it is recommended for a routine checkup once in every 3 years if you are under the age of 50, and once a year when you turn 50.
And at what
Sorry?
at
Go ahead.
what age do you start your first checkups, your routine checkups?
You can start your, again, it depends. If you're healthy and fit, yeah, you start your routine checkup once you step into adolescent.
Okay.
So ideally, you even do a checkup when you're at childhood, so you start actually as a baby, when you're born, you do your routine checkups. Then you get your vaccinations updated 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, and you continue thereafter, 2 years, you continue thereafter, until you complete your vaccinations. And then after that, once you step, your adolescent, you do it every 3 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we do these routine checkup, but sometimes we don't share everything with our doctor. How important is that communication or that honesty? Be like, it's okay, we can let it be.
Very, very important to be open and honest to your physician.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's when you do it during your regular routine checkup. Yeah, it allows you to actually become an active player in your healthcare, and it allows the doctor to do the best they can for you.
Yeah.
So the best thing you want to do is actually, like before you have your routine visit to your doctor, write down all the questions that you have, or maybe as you experience changes in your system, you want to write that down. So maybe you want to discuss with your doctor regarding hormones. menopause issues, depression issues, medication issues, sexual issues. It's still a lot. There's still a lot of embarrassment amongst our community, especially when talking regarding these issues.
Correct.
So I would recommend don't be embarrassed and please be as open and as honest to your physician, because that's the only way we can help you out.
Correct. Sometimes there are small things like a consistent headache and we keep ignoring it, or pain in a single toe or something like that. We're like, it's okay. But
yes,
that's a good idea, that have a communication open with your doctor for you to handle this. Lastly, one more thing. Most of us nowadays go to Dr. Google.
yes.
And it's the easiest one, but at the same time, there are so many things, sometimes very contradictory statements as well. So, do you recommend, not recommend? Because before we seek a doctor's, opinion, we seek Dr. Google.
Very true. Like what you said, headaches, like you have headaches, you have pain in your toes, you immediately go Dr. Google. Dr. Google tells you have cancer. That's when you get anxious. That's when you jump to the doctor. Yeah. So that's very, very common that we are seeing these days, especially in women, because they feel they're responsible for everyone's health. Yeah. It is so tempting for people to definitely turn to Dr. Google to self-diagnose their health and to get medical advices. Yes. However, the reality is that these websites should be viewed actually extremely cautiously. They don't know your medical history. They don't know if you have any other conditions that's together with it. Yeah, so many websites are actually, not scientifically studied. Yeah, and so they just create all these inaccuracies in diagnosis, and it creates unnecessary anxiety and fear. Correct. And the worst situation is, when they cause a false sense of security. You feel you're okay.
Yes. Yes.
In my clinic, I'm definitely seeing a lot of these cyberchondriacs. They Google search everything and they come to the doctors for the answers. Yes. So yeah, Dr. Google is definitely not a replacement of your doctor's visit. Yeah. Correct. When you go to the doctor, you can have a two-way communication. And this is best utilized when you do your routine checkups. Yes. Yeah, I always encourage my patients to always be an active participant when they come to visit me.
Yes. Yeah. Lovely.
It's only you who will feel empowered about your health only if you take charge of it.
Correct. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And as you very correctly mentioned, that there has to be no embarrassment. Anything you want to go to Dr. Google, you would rather go to your doctor. And that trust has to be there between you and your doctor, because Dr. Google may not be that trustworthy. Thank you. That was very enlightening. I'm just going to hold you there for some time, and we're going to move on to Poonam, who's going to speak with Sonia.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jyoti. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jyoti. That was wonderful. I also like the cyberchondriac doctors. Thank you, Dr. Varkha. That was indeed enlightening. And now we are going to see the other part, the emotional well-being, the cognitive, and then we are going to be talking to our other expert, Sonia Lakhiani. Sonia Lakhiani, let me spotlight you so that we can all see you. Hi Sonia, welcome.
Thank you Poonam, thank you Jyoti. I'm so happy to be on this platform today, and happy International Women's Day to everyone.
Thank you.
So, as
I just want to give a very short introduction. Yes. Sonia is Art of Living Country Coordinator for Indonesia. She has been teaching the Art of Living courses and Sehed Samadhi meditation since 2001. Sonia also conducts meditation retreats, conferences, and organizes the international events in the presence of the Master, His Holiness Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, since 1999 until today. So Sonia, welcome. And I know you have been in this field for a very long time now, over 2 decades. And one of the most important things is mental well-being. If you are stress-free, if you feel mentally good, everything happens properly. In fact, they say, if you look at the game of tennis, they say it's all in the mind. So what is mental well-being?
Yeah, today the world is facing a lot of challenges with COVID and now with war and financial crisis. So there's a lot of anxiety, and this leads to depression, leads to misery. No? So to combat all this, we need to take care of our mind, the mental well being. There are a lot of ways to tackle this, but there are main 6 steps to mental well being. One is wisdom, having this knowledge of the self, knowing yourself, knowing this life. This life is nothing but a big circle of thoughts and emotions and feelings. Every day we get bogged down with thoughts. Every day we get bogged down with our own negative feelings. And all this rules our mind, all this rules our life. So wisdom is to know this life, which has actually 7 levels of existence. They are body, breath, mind, memory, intellect, ego, and the soul. Yeah. And then knowing something about meditation, knowing something about your own breath. Breath is a powerful tool. Knowing something about yoga, having this awareness. That's the 5th one. And the 6th is art, letting art heal you, because art also heals your emotional, your feelings level, and that's an outlet you can express through art. Not only painting, but it can be any other form: dance, creativity, anything that you are interested in taking up as a hobby. So there are these 6 essential steps that take care of your mental well-being.
So, Sonia, you mentioned about awareness of self as being the first step, about wisdom. Some people go through their entire lives without knowing who they are and what they are looking for. But now you've made it even bigger. You've made them 7 things to know about: wisdom, the knowing, yoga, knowing art, and other important aspects of life. So how do we get there? How do we be more self-aware?
Yeah. So the key is actually the breath. Breath is a powerful tool. Breath is a link actually between the inner world of silence and outer world of activity. We are engaged daily in so many actions, through our speech, through our behavior, through our daily interactive actions with others, and we get affected by people, situation, objects, circumstances. All these affect us. So breath is a powerful tool. If you observe, every emotion has a specific um, effect on our body, on our mind, and on the breath. The breath changes, the rhythm of breath changes with every emotion. When we are angry, the breath is short. And when we are happy, the breath is expanded. So the key is doing daily practices of pranayama, of Sudarshan Kriya that we teach. They are the trademark of Art of Living, the Sudarshan Kriya, and that really benefits tremendously, not only for physical aspect, but also for mental aspect. So breath is a powerful tool. It is like a thread, and mind is actually the kite. So mind flies everywhere. Mind is always going either between the past or the future. Yeah, hanging on to past, to the negativity, regretting, or going into the future, becoming anxious. So breath is the tool that can control the mind. From the level of the mind, we cannot control the mind. but through breath, which is very subtle and tangible, we can control the mind.
I think
So
that is
pranayamas help, yes. Pranayama, Sudarshan Kriya, they help.
wonderful. I think that is the breath is the key.
And of course, meditation is an important tool. Yeah. So in meditation, what happens is the mind gets a deep rest. Yeah. In sleep, the body recuperates, it heals, but yet there is some activity on mental level. But in meditation, the mind dives deep and unites with the consciousness, with that higher state of consciousness, and it gets a deep rest that nothing else can give. And when the mind gets deep rest, then you get energized, you get clarity, positivity, and you feel happy. So every day practicing just 20 minutes of meditation helps a lot. And there are actually 4 states of consciousness.
oh,
Yeah, every step has a lot of steps actually. So in meditation, we actually, how do we reach that 4th state of consciousness is going through the waking, the sleep, the dream state, and then we dive or get in touch with our 4th state, which is called Turiya state or the higher state of consciousness, the meditative mind. And that is awareness. When you are in touch with that 24/7, the awareness arises. Then you become the seer and everything is the scenery. You take a back seat and you see what is happening. This whole world is like a play. But then you need to become that seer to observe what is happening on this stage.
you know, Sonia, when you just said that, it reminded me of the time when Sri Ravi Shankar ji had come to Jakarta and there was this event. And everybody asked him that, how long do you meditate? And Sri Ravi Shankar ji just smiled and he says, I'm always in a state of meditation. And you know, and what you are saying is just that he's at the 4th state, and you know, he is always in that sense of awareness. So yes, that is something to aspire to and work towards. And you know, for people who are starting out like me, we need to, you know, take baby steps to get to that place. You know, we also, as women, we sometimes say that we need time for ourselves. We feel like we are giving time to everybody else, but we can't find time for ourselves. How can we do that? How can we find time for ourselves?
So yes, as Dr. Varkha said, we need to be little selfish. We need to make time. We need to be disciplined, and commitment. Because what happens is when we are not happy, then we create unhappy vibes in our surrounding, in our environment, in the family. But when we are happy, everybody around gets that vibes. They catch on those vibrations. So it is very important to practice every day. So we have to make time, 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, because that helps the mind to calm down, to get that deep rest. And then when it is out of that state, it is more dynamic, it is more full of strength and courage and blissful. So we need to make time, and that requires just 10-15 minutes in the morning and 10-15 minutes in the evening. And meditation is something that if you practice on your own, it leads you to nowhere. Even the guided meditations for a beginner are fine, but at the end of the day, you should be able to meditate without any support of any kind, without the support of music, without the support of guided meditations, without the support of incense, aroma, nothing, nothing, nothing. You should be able to meditate anywhere, everywhere, even in the park, even in the train, even in the railway station, at doctor's clinic. So once you learn the technique, the Sahaj Samadhi, the effortless meditation, you are done.
Yeah, I think that is a very valid point. When you are able to meditate all by yourself, find time for yourself, be disciplined about it. Only then can you be happy and give happy vibes. In fact, that was my last question on how we can be joyful and happy. And you know already shared that only when we are joyful and happy and we have time for ourselves, that we can be joyful and happy.
A strong mind can carry a weak body, but a weak body
Yes.
without a strong mind cannot work.
Right, right. Very true. Thank you so much, Sonia, for sharing your thoughts with us. That was very, very useful and very enlightening. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Jyoti, what did you think of that?
I think that was beautiful, and she's absolutely right that, we women are the anchors, technically and realistically. If you see, we're anchors of each and every household. And if we are not happy, we definitely cannot give happiness.
Yeah.
And you have to be happy with yourself. If you don't really love yourself, you cannot love others. If you don't care for yourself, you cannot care. It'll last you a little while, but not very long. But you really, really have to love yourself. There are times you have to do that. No, I don't have me time, but largely that me time has to be given priority. That me time is what's going to take you a long way. So I really feel that. And when she talks about, Sonia, when you talk about meditation, and I love that glow on your face and that calmness. Now that is something I really aspire for, because I don't have that calmness, and internally or externally. So that is something to really move on to now for me. So that's my take away from this session. But I have to move towards that.
Everyone can learn it. It's very, very easy.
Yeah. And it's good. Yes. Okay. Thank you. I really enjoyed that. I'd like to bring on Geeta now, because Geeta comes in with a totally different perspective on a lot of other things. So, Geeta is a qualified nutritionist and a dietitian for the last 15 years, a 2 times gold medalist in the field of nutrition. She's also a qualified diabetes educator and diabetes pump trainer, specializing in the field of diabetes. Everybody in Jakarta has known Geeta, and probably outside Jakarta as well. So, a healthy, balanced diet is the cornerstone of leading a healthy lifestyle for men and women. Geeta, we all know this. We all read books about diet and nutrition. I guess that if you go on to Google, that's the most sought after sites everywhere. Health, food, and everything. How is nutrition a cornerstone for health? We've spoken about how Dr. Varkha has mentioned looking after physical health, but how is food, our nutrition, so key to it?
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. So I just heard this Sonia Lakhiani speaking about a healthy mind and a weak body. How about a body is equally healthy and
Yes.
equally
Sorry, Geeta.
Can't hear you, Geeta.
I think there's some.
bad at the same
Geeta,
time?
can you repeat, please? We
Yes,
couldn't
Geeta,
hear
we
you
lost you
earlier.
in between. Could you just repeat?
Sure, sure, sure. I think the internet is unstable
Maybe you
sometimes.
need to come closer to the speaker.
Yeah, that's fine now, Geeta. I think we can hear you now.
Okay, I hope I'm audible now. I'm
Perfect.
Yes.
audible.
Yes.
Am I? Okay. So, we just heard Sonia speaking about a weak body with a healthy mind, with a strong mind, strong mentality. How about the body is also equally strong? And the mentality is, of course, the mental health is strong as Sonia wants to meditate. And at the same time, we pick up some points from Dr. Varkha of our annual checkups. Don't you think it will be a complete package? And it is so easy, we can do it easily. Why should we go for anything which is weaker, especially the body? Okay. So have you seen in any family earlier also when people had joint families, the woman not being well, the whole household, including the children, including the husband, the grandparents, everybody would not be happy because the woman of the mother of the, the family, the woman of the family is sick. Are so important. We are so important. We have to simply value ourselves. And on this International Women's Day, I would really want all of us to realize that how important we are.
We lost you on this. Can't hear you.
Yeah, she's having some issues
Internet
with
issue
her.
happening there.
Yeah.
Yes. Geeta, can you hear us? Okay. I think she is having some internet issues. Poonam,
Yeah. Maybe we can move on to our next speaker in
Shireen, and
the
then we can come
meantime.
back to Geeta
Yeah.
when
So maybe I
internet issues are
can.
resolved.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. Let's do this. Uh, we can speak to Shireen prior to prior to Geeta, so then we can take Geeta as the last
Sure,
speaker.
sure.
So
Thank
Shireen, can we like to introduce you? So today we have with us Shireen. Shareen Ratnani has been a very popular speaker on Indo-Indians, and she has been sharing a lot of information regarding relationships, regarding all the other love languages and a lot of things. She is in fact a very accomplished educator. She's a passionate early childhood educator for young children. She's a Montessori consultant, licensed parenting coach, teacher, workshop presenter, and a lifelong learner. She has also conducted workshops on the five love languages for Indo-Indians, facilitated several parenting and leadership workshops for educators globally, and she believes that you can only give to others if your own emotional cup is full. So, welcome, Shireen, and thank you. Thank you for being up so early. Shireen is on the other end of the world, but so she had to wake up real early to join us today.
Thank you, Poonam, and a happy Women's Day to everybody who's here. I think I'd like to honor and acknowledge everyone who's taken their time out to be here and to make a difference, because I think the value that you're taking from today is going to really spread out there to a lot of other women. So thank you, and thank you, Jyoti and Poonam, for this lovely opportunity as well.
So
you.
Shireen will be sharing with us what are the fourth pillar, which is social health. What is social health, Shireen?
Okay, so just like we've been talking about various other elements of self-care, about taking charge of health, like Dr. Varkha said, we need to take care of our health, and Soni spoke about how we need a very strong mind. Life is a circle of thoughts and emotions that we're carrying. And even even Geeta just said about how the woman is the spine of the family. So we've had these different elements, and the other element is social self-care, because we don't live alone. We live in societies and we have this innate need to be a part of a society, to belong.
Yes.
We have that need to belong, and that is why we need to feel significance, and we need to feel a sense of belonging with anything and everything that we do. And when it comes to social self-care, it's our relationship with ourselves that's absolutely important. Like I think Soni said, when we are not happy, we create unhappy vibes. Absolutely. When you pour a cup of coffee, all you'll get is coffee. So all of us out here have an emotional cup within ourselves. And what we fill in that cup is what we can give others. If you are frustrated, you will only give frustrated, right?
Correct.
So I think even though self-care is about you, but it's very important to have the self-compassion and give the same kindness to yourself that you would give to others. It is very important to invent your world, have the colors, the sounds, the relationships, everything around that is taking care of you in context of living in a society. And And before we go on to the next thing, we have two elements in our society. We have a microsystem, which is the people we live with every day. It could be our nannies, our spouses, our children. Every day we have that. First of all, our relationship with ourselves is important. Like Jyoti said, put on that oxygen mask first before you go elsewhere. What you come out with is affecting your microsystem, the immediate people. And those people, if those people are happy and have positive vibes, they are reaching out to a broader society, which is your macro system. So you see how important you are in context with the entire society that you live with.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Shireen, that's all this micro, macro. Yes, is very right. You've just put words to things that we couldn't explain earlier. That we have our little circles of people around us. Like concentric circles moving out from us. So this all about, like Whitney Houston said, the greatest love of all is the love you have for yourself. But in these challenging times, how do we keep our emotional cups full? How do we maintain our emotional well-being?
Okay, so I think one of the very important things when you're feeling a lot of challenge and all of that is your own self-talk. I think it's not what we say out loud to the world that determines the quality of our life. It's what we whisper to ourselves that has the most impact. And all the time we have self-talk. Even if I'm coming here to speak to you, I might have the self-talk that, oh my God, I'm not going to be able to do this. And exactly that's what's going to happen. But if I say, oh, you know what? I've just got some value to share and I'm going to do it positively, that's exactly what I'm going to manifest. So being very mindful, like Soni was talking a lot about, being meditating and, being focusing. So I think it starts with these little things, being mindful and actually controlling that invisible puppet that you have that's constantly saying things to you, right? And even in a social, even in a social framework, when you're talking to someone, think about it. I might be talking to someone, and sometimes I have this self-talk puppet that is saying, oh, yeah, she's like this. Oh, this is what she's wearing. Oh, we're always thinking to judge. Just be mindful. Start looking at the positive in yourself and in others. So I think that's one. And the other one is, I love acronyms, and be a star. When I say star, stop, think, acknowledge your emotion before you respond. We all are human beings. We are not some superhuman powers. We feel frustration. We feel anger. We feel sadness. We feel lack of confidence. That is part of being human. So acknowledge it. I mean, I've got grown-up daughters, and sometimes, you're just screaming at people and you're shouting at people and they don't know what you're feeling. So stop, think, assess, acknowledge your emotion. Oh, I'm frustrated. Oh, I'm angry right now. And so I need to take care of myself before I do the R, which is respond, right? So have that positive self-talk, be a star every day. I know it's not easy, but atomic habits, small little habits done every day actually make a difference, right?
We as people, we depend on other people to fill in our emotional cup rather than filling it up ourselves. And that's where the gaps come in. We depend on the surrounding, our micro and macro, to fill in our emotional cups. And that's the incorrect part of it. Yeah.
And Jyoti, in response to that, I would like to say one more thing, to control ourselves is, when we talk about responsibility, it is actually controlling your response ability, your ability to respond, right? I'll give you a very quick example. Sometimes you're in the car and you're stuck in traffic, right? So we have a situation, or we even have a person in our life, that may be very irritating, or, just just somebody who we have to live with. It could be anyone. It could be our own child, our mother-in-law, a friend, anyone, So a situation or a person means nothing without your response to it. Right. So if you're in traffic and you're stuck in traffic, okay, doesn't matter. What's your response? If I say, okay, fine, I'm stuck in traffic, let me put on my headphones and listen to music. My outcome is going to be, I've got some extra time to listen to my music. But in that traffic, if I'm going to complain and say, oh my God, this is horrible, I can't deal with it, my response is going to have an outcome which is going to be negative and make me feel horrible, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about that one equation.
Yes.
No circumstance, no person without a response will have any outcome that you can't control. So, yep, that's what you need to do. Control your responsibility.
Yes.
Correct. Thanks, Shireen. I think that was interesting. And it is, like inside out, how we are inside is how we affect the surroundings. So thank you for that wonderful, wonderful insight into how we can be responsible for our response. Thank you so much. Jyoti, we lost Geeta earlier, so let's bring Geeta back on, because what she had to say was very important about nutrition. So sorry, Geeta, we lost you at that time.
Yeah, even I lost the connection somewhere. I'm sorry about it. So
It is loud and clear now. So glad to see you back. So Geeta, we were talking about how health is like the most important thing for our body.
So I would start when the child is born. Now, this is very, very important that the first 6 months the child has to breastfeed compulsory. The next 2 years, you should.
Geeta, we can't hear you again.
Yeah, I think, am I again audible?
Again audible now.
The first 6 months the child has to be breastfed, as we know that it's very important for immunity. Next 2 years, ideally the child should also be breastfed along with the normal food he's eating. Now, this is what we are talking about a child. Now, how would a child, when he becomes 4, 5, 6, this is the time the neurological has to, the neural health condition has to be thinking because the nose is lacking. Okay, when the child becomes 5 or 6, of course, now we know that, the extra salt and sugar is not the answer to the child. So what we do, when we know that the neurological has to work extremely well, what I do? Just 2 teaspoons of walnut powder along with the dry powder of khajur, which we call kharak in India. So that is replacing the sugar along with whatever you want to give, atta or suji. So what happens? Then you get
nutrition, but not sugar.
You got omegas and the children, we have seen that when they start with their schools, they are very at it because they are getting the right nutrition instead of and of course, when it comes to eggs, it's very important. When it's come to paneer, I'm talking about a 5, 6, 7-year-old child. This is how we start the nutrition. Like Shireen said, you have to be mentally very happy and this and that. But what if the mental condition is not correct and we are lacking vitamin B12?
Yes.
Then how will we meditate?
Geeta, we can't really hear you very clearly.
We can hear
your voice is breaking, it comes on and off. And you know what? And today, because we are all talking about Women's Day and how we can be the best version of ourselves, what I increasingly find is, this thing about how we want to do a basic healthy diet while maintaining how we look, and talk about diet, obesity. So Jyoti, can you touch upon those points so that we can get some?
Sure. Geeta, can you hear us now?
Can you hear me now?
Yes. It's better. So
if we talk about obesity and
Geeta, we can't hear you.
Still cannot hear me?
Now can.
Maybe you should be closer to your microphone.
Okay, fine. Okay. So, if you talk about obesity and dieting, believe me, the kind of clients I see, they all are on a diet constantly, but they're not realizing one thing, that they are lacking all the nutrition,
Correct.
and they end up having acidity, being anemic, etc., etc. So, whoever wants to diet, generally everyone wants to, because I have not seen a single person who says that I'm fit. Oh, I'm 2 kilos overweight. I'm 10 kilos overweight. I always get this response.
The constant.
So when you diet, it's fine. When you diet, it simply means that you have to be active and you have to have a low fat diet. It does not mean that you should not have all the micronutrients. A very simple, easy way. I tell them to start their day with buttermilk, which has sunflower seeds and which has moringa powder. So there you are done. You have got iron, you have got omegas, and you have got protein and calcium from the curd, whatever buttermilk you are having. This is such a simple way. If you start your day like this, then you are not undernourished, you're not malnourished, and at the same time you are dieting also, because these things, they don't add anything. I mean, any weight
Correct.
to yourself, or and then coming to, like I told last time also, we have designed a protein powder of all dry fruits to be powdered. Now everybody tells me that, why should we powder the dry fruits? We can eat them. Can you eat them every day? Can you chew them 30 times every day so that they become milky and it goes in you? No, that's not possible. Even I don't have the time. Maybe once in a week I have the time. So the dry fruits which are powdered well are going to be great for you when it comes to your protein and calcium. Don't forget that once you are crossed 45, 50, the calcium in your body depletes with many reasons.
Actually, that
You're
was my
very
next question, Geeta, that what is the right health for women? So basic good diet for, let's say, an adolescent girl to somebody under 40 to above 50. What is a good diet for them?
Now there have been many, I think
Maybe you should stay closer to the microphone.
the net is not really helping me today. Anyway, so now what happens, that we have seen this, it has been proved that if you overeat and if you are fat, then you quickly start your menstrual cycle. Ideally it is 10 to 12 age, when your age is 10 to 12, but people have quite early their menstruation only
Yes.
because they are obese. At the same time, the girls who are not taking care of their diet in the form of iron and calcium and protein and other micronutrients, which comes from different kind of vegetables, we can
Hmm.
specify later. If they are malnourished, then they menstruate late in life.
Okay.
All this puts a very deep impact on their sexual health, which during the teens it starts developing. So it's very, very important for a mother to take care of their daughter when she is reaching her teens or when she's already 9. Now, there are many ways to give micronutrients, but it has to be taken care. Otherwise, otherwise your health, the woman, when the girl starts becoming a woman, it actually has no impact if the diet is not correct.
Correct.
That means you're not helping and it goes on in the same way. Am
So
I
what
audible?
about women nearing 40 and women above 50, which moves on to,
So women nearing 40 and nearly 50 and above, their protein intake has to be increased compared to the carbohydrates.
okay.
How we take two or three rotis when we are 20s and 30s and rice, we definitely put it into 50%, of course, because of obesity also. And at the same time, we need more muscle mass. Remember that the muscle mass depletes with age. You have to do two things. You have to do some weight training and take high protein diet. Now, high protein diet for vegetarians can be, it can be, as I told you, it can be the protein powder which we make at home for them. Sounds quite easy, but it's a very, very big, it plays a very big impact on your health when you have enough protein and enough calcium. We have also seen that 40% of the women, they lose the capacity to take the calcium from their food. So already, already they are depleting themselves, because every day, as you know, the calcium is depleted from the bones and it takes back. So when you take back again the calcium, it has to be of good quality, to see to this that you really, if you cannot take, I mean, I agree that if you cannot drink 2 cups of milk every day,
Then
but
at least
how about a moringa drink, which
yeah.
is new? How about a curry leaf drink, which is again, of course, this is a newer concept. Have you seen in the villages how people keep fit?
Yeah.
Because they have moringa trees and they have everything from it. They make vegetables of their fruits. This has come out as a new thing, that yes, moringa has proved to be a magical pill. You know,
Correct.
we have really helped people
Yes.
here with moringa, and of course, it has very high calcium, high protein, and the other iron binding capacities also.
Yeah, you've
So,
spoken about moringa even earlier, and I remember you've always called it a miracle tree. Geeta, I have
it,
lastly a very important question. You know, there is a big market of vitamins and supplements out there. Okay. Now, as you rightly said, you can't have 2 cups of milk, you can't have a big bowl of nuts and seeds every day. So, we feel that it's easier to just pop in one vitamin, a B12, a calcium, and omega, and I'm done. What is the role of vitamins and supplements in today's world?
please remember that whenever we take synthesized vitamins, they are digested in the body only 30%, because they are synthesized. The difference between an original omega and a piece of fish or say nuts and seeds. I agree that people are very busy and they think that all the pills they are taking is
You're
going to be.
breaking.
To the extent that they can,
You're breaking, Geeta. I can't hear you very clearly. You're breaking. I think there is a net issue there.
uh, okay,
So,
I'll again try.
yeah. So let's bring all the panelists on, and maybe we can open this up for
Yeah,
Q&A, and and then maybe we can have a last few minutes of Q&A with all our panelists who have been sharing. And Geeta, I take your point about moringa leaves, and I take your point about watching your diet and
these are the quick fixes. These are the quick fixes
Correct.
when we want to be fit. I mean,
Yes.
instead of a pill, if you take a half teaspoon of moringa powder every day, any which way, you are done with so much of vitamins. You can see. So also the sunflower seeds, which are extremely rich. If you take 1 teaspoon every day along with your buttermilk, you are again done. You are again done for the rest of the day for all these things. So
yes,
it's
so
an
it's a
easy
good
way
point.
out.
Very, very good and easy fix. We would like to now open this up, all the panelists, to all the audience. And if they have any questions, they can type on their question or
There's a
comment.
question from Komal for Geeta. What should be the right quantity of different vitamin recommendations for women or men of 40 years and old? Any recommendations on the vegetarian brand?
If you're talking about pills, they already come as your daily recommendation.
Okay.
When you take vitamin B and emphasize that once a day, so that is
So
correctly
we
done.
can't hear you. I think there is internet
When
issues.
you yeah, when you
Better,
take
now
these
better.
when you take these vitamins, of course, they come with the right amount when they are sold in the market. They say that okay, vitamin D3 comes, of course, it's daily content. You cannot take 2 or 3 pills in a day. It's
Sorry,
already
Geeta, you're not audible. Maybe you can just type in the answer.
Yes,
oh,
probably we can
am
people
I
have.
Yeah.
Off and on, Geeta. You are breaking in between. So we can hear a couple of words and then we can't hear you.
Yeah. So maybe you can just type in the answer and then that might work. Any other questions
Yeah, I
for?
had a question for you.
Yeah.
And my question was you said that we need to watch breathing, yoga, and I think some of these habits should be inculcated from much earlier than when we reach 40s and above. What is your recommendation of how soon should we inculcate maybe adolescents, teenagers, 20s, or even earlier? What do you recommend is the right time?
Earlier the better. Nowadays, even the kids are getting a lot of stress. from school, from their peers, from the work, from their projects, from the teachers, and their relationships as they grow older. So I would say as young as possible, because once you develop those habits, they
Yes.
become just like brushing your teeth. And
Longer.
not that life is smooth, life is full of opposites, but you know how to tackle it skillfully.
Yes. You're more equipped.
Talking about that, Jyoti and Sonia, we feel empowered to teach our children, math, English,
Right.
even sport. But when it comes to teaching our child how to meditate, we
Yes.
feel we are not empowered enough.
Absolutely.
And we would rather have a meditation guru, or we'll send them to a center to learn meditation. Uh,
True.
any comments on that? What do you think? What do you think, Dr. Varkha? Have you taught your child how to meditate? Shireen, have you done that to your children?
Okay, so because we have very young children, like 5-year-old children, actually 3 to 6-year-old children, we actually do mindfulness with them, and it's fun mindfulness stuff, right? A simple thing is like, okay, we tell children, take the cup and let's do a mindful breath, right? Just an example. Now pretend that you've got hot coffee. Let's breathe in. Now let's blow the coffee. You're doing a fun breath, and you're actually teaching them mindfulness. So it starts like Soni said, you can start with a toddler. It's just finding creative ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Shireen, I have a question. You see a lot of high school children right now going through very, very difficult times because of the stage they are in. They are embarking on a different journey, going forward to universities. So there are too many things. There's a peer pressure, there's a social pressure, there is an exam thing, university challenge. How do you keep that going with the sanity of the child and the communication challenge? Usually children at that age move away from family, they don't communicate. How do you keep that communication channel open,
With the mother.
with the family actually?
Wow. Okay. I think it starts at a very, very young age. I feel if you want to have kids, then prioritize them, just don't have them. Because it takes a very long time to build this relationship and this bond forever. And that is why even with parents who've got like 5 or 6-year-old children, if you are going to be busy doing that and talking to your child, then you are going to have a communication line where they are going to be busy listening to their friends and doing their own things and just giving you an ear, which doesn't matter. So I think it starts from a very young age. Nevertheless, if you've missed that train, still take the time out with your teenager. So I call this mind, body, and soul time. Take 10 minutes off with your child or with your spouse or with your friend. Okay, do something that is enriching to the mind, to the body, and to the soul. It's not about you, it's about them.
Yes.
So I suggest to a lot of parents, start with mind, body, and soul time, 10 minutes a day, however busy you are. And done every day, like every other habit, it just, like Soni says, it just becomes hardwired. And that's a channel you're creating.
Good.
Kids can also start with brain exercises. That's very, very good to increase their intuitive power. We start from the age of 5, start teaching them, of course, breathing techniques also, Sudarshan Kriya as well, and some brain coordination exercises, which actually helps increase the intuitive power, So that really helps.
There is a question where they talk about how do we give more empowerment and social help to women. Who would like to answer? Dr. Varkha, would you like to talk about how can we give women more social health and empowerment?
Again, so I was reading through that question. Yeah, so I guess like what is said is true. We need to bring back the self-confidence in the woman. So most of the times, the woman just tries to ignore themselves and just think about other people.
you know, and as day goes by, you know, they lose their own confidence. They lose their ability to do things, you know. So again, you know, it needs training in every aspect, you know, like Sonia said, the mind, you know, like in every aspect. The first thing is you have to give yourself time. You know, you have to stop, think, like what Shireen said. You know, you have to take all those aspects to be able to build that confidence back, to be able to empower yourself.
Yeah. So I have two things to say. First of all, I'm just going to read Geeta's answer, which is about the vitamins. When you buy a vitamin, it says once a day. So that is the dose. But except for vitamin B12 and vitamin D3, rest can be easily done by foods. So I hope that answers your question, Komal. Dr. Varkha, I have a question. Pandemic has isolated a lot of us for reasons of quarantine and lockdowns and stuff like that. I also see a lot of elderly are very challenged in terms of, they're largely living alone. They don't have many hobbies, and it's too late to kind of cultivate hobbies. And it's been physically and mentally a challenge. So, how do you, as a physician, address that?
So what I do see this a lot as well. You know, so again, this is the era, as we said, of quarantine and isolation. You know, so retraining is what I would recommend. You know, so we would recommend, you know, encouraging to use these techniques, you know, to connect. Yeah, so like what Shireen said, you know, we don't want to be out of connect with other people, you know, like we need to get in connect with the social people around us. But how do we do that in this quarantine period? You know, so in those aspects, you know, they, you know, like teach them, you know, like get to the social medias, you know, like what we are doing today, the Zoom, you know, we go through the WhatsApp video calls. And even for health purposes, you know, so health purposes, a lot of doctors nowadays are doing online you know, assessments, you know, so online follow-ups of the health condition. You know,
Yes.
so you can, you know, you can have a lot of conversation. In fact, what I'm seeing like right now with this on the virtual online consults, you know, you're at your own house, you know, so you can be very much open and can, you know, you feel comfortable being in your own space and
Yes.
discussing about your health. You know, the only barrier to it is, you know, like again, you know, like being elderly, you know, like getting to teach them the technology. So we
Yes.
need, you know, the assistance from their family members for sure.
Correct.
You know,
Absolutely.
I'm just amazed at how we just tend to be, as women, talk about other people, how helping other people, or speaking about issues which are social issues, whereas the topic today is all about self care and empowerment, and how we just tend to be there. And there was this quote that I read, which I so resonated with, which said that we are bringing up our daughters to be like sons. How wonderful would it be if we brought up our sons to be more like our
Like
daughters?
daughters. Correct.
Caring,
Absolutely.
kind, compassionate, empathetic, you know. It would change the dynamics completely.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
So,
I'd like to thank all of you for being here. Geeta, we are going to do a session specially with you to learn more about nutrition for women. And Dr. Varkha, thank you so much for sharing. Sonia, it was very enlightening and insightful.
absolutely.
Shireen, as always, you tied up everything together. And we couldn't have done this without Jyoti. Jyoti, you bring a very special something to any of these sessions when you share your calm, you know, very grounded energy during these sessions.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you,
All right.
everyone. I hope all of you enjoyed this session. If you have any feedback, comments, or anything you'd like to share, you can always drop us an email. You know, we are available to you on various channels. Jyoti, would you like to say the last few words?
Well, it's been a very enriching session today, personally speaking as well. Lots to learn. And as Poonam rightly said, we will come back to Geeta soon. We'll fix something and come back to her because that's another very key aspect. Dr. Varkha, it was really, really enlightening to understand that how, our physical health determines our long run in this life and a healthy one, and how not to trust Dr. Google. I mean, I do go back to it and I'm guilty of it as much as a lot of others. So that's a learning for me. From Sonia, my learning is that I need to definitely move towards more on breathing and meditation, personally speaking. And I think I'm probably speaking this for a lot of people because we hear all this, but we don't consciously make that effort. So I think as Women's Day today, let's make that effort towards our own breathing techniques and a little towards meditation. 4 steps, probably a long way to go, but at least let's make a beginning. So that's a great beginning for me there. And Shireen, thank you so much. You always give me that star reminder, which sometimes, honestly, in my rigmarole of every day, I do tend to forget. And I always thank you for that because I think you could be at any age in life as a woman or as anybody, but that star reminder works at every level. So that's really a big takeaway. And Geeta, your moringa seeds, big star with that
I
too.
think it has transformed many lives.
Yes,
We
yes,
have actually done wonders to many of my clients, so I promote it further.
yes, yes.
Thank you, Geeta. In fact, your tips on diabetes, on various supplements that you've done earlier as well, are very, very valid to every woman here on this, in this audience and otherwise. And you have already been very generous with your sharing your knowledge and expertise. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today, and a happy Women's Day to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Happy Women's Day.